Heroes. They are incredibly elusive, but you know one when you see it. Julius Caesar, Alexander the Great, Ronald McDonald. And while one of those heroes was just there for me when I was bothering my mom in the car ride home from school, they all accomplished the same thing. They changed the world around them for the better, and they did something that nobody else was possible, whether it be conquering the known world or making a hamburger under $1 in like 5 seconds, both of which very important to modern society. But I am here to introduce you to another hero. And that is a hero that I have come to fall in love with and will spend the rest of however long this video happens to be attempting to convince you that they are also the heroes that we do not deserve, but that we need right now. In this age of fancy football, high-octane tactics and technique, a team that is anti-everything, anti-fun, anti-football, anti-goals, and is managing to do that while still achieving great things. This team is called Viktoria Plzeň. And no, I did not just sneeze. That is a club in the Czech Republic, and one of the more notable clubs in the Czech Republic, one that I've known about for a while as an avid player of Football Manager. And they are in the Europa Conference League. They made the group stage after a qualification period, which included some close calls, including an opening round qualification draw against a team from Kosovo named Drita, who they only managed to beat 2-1 in the second leg after Drita got a red card. So this is not a team in Viktoria Plzeň that was lighting the world on fire early, but after 2 more rounds of qualification, they made it into the group stage. And that is where the story of our heroes takes flight, because they make this group stage and they beat Balkani 1-0. Now, Balkani is also from Kosovo, so this is not a particularly impressive win. They did it at home towards the end of September, but it is the first win of many for Viktoria Plzeň in this journey. Their incredible ability continued in a match against Astana, the club from Kazakhstan. They went behind 1-0 before a quick-fire double in just 3 minutes, and the bus was then promptly parked again, giving Viktoria Plzeň its second consecutive 1-goal win in the group stage. That is a running theme you're going to get used to. They then visited Croatia to play a very good Dinamo Zagreb team. Yes, their group was kind of weak in the Conference League, but that doesn't matter because they're winning these matches. They won 1-0 at Dinamo Zagreb, and then they had to play Dinamo Zagreb again, and I'll let you guess the score. How about 1-0? That sound all right to you? Yes. Score 1 goal and then don't let them score at all. Then, fifth match, how about a 1-goal win? That's right. They went to Kosovo and they won 1-0 against FC Balkani. Again. This brings us to the final match where they finally broke rank and actually won at home 3-0 against Kazakhstan team FK Astana. But 5 of their 6 group stage matches 1-goal wins, including multiple 1-goal wins against the representative from Kosovo. And perhaps even more impressive, Viktoria Plzeň only conceded 1 goal in the entire group stage. 1 goal. They allowed 1 goal. And they produced a remarkable looking 18 points from their 6 matches. Viktoria Plzeň might have been handed a fairly easy group. We're talking about a team that drew aside from Kosovo in its first qualifying match that is now winning every single match in the Conference League group stage. And if you know how this stuff works, that means they are immediately going to the final 16 of the Conference League. They get to skip the first playoff round. They don't even have to play in the first knockout round. They're just waiting in the last 16. And while they were waiting, Servette out of Switzerland managed to win all of those matches, and that produced a tie between Servette and Viktoria Plzeň in the first knockout round. This is obviously not one of those ties that draw your attention, and the way they played didn't draw anybody's attention. The first leg in Switzerland, 0-0. The second leg, and this is true, ended 0-0. There were no goals scored in 210 minutes. And then it went to a penalty shootout where Servette scored just one of its 4 penalties. Viktoria Plzeň scored all of the 3 that it took, and it won. Viktoria Plzeň managed to advance to the quarterfinals from the round of 16 without having to score a single goal. They did not score a goal in 210 minutes, and they still made it to the next round. They have also, now at this point, if you're keeping track of the math here, since the group stage started, allowed just 1 goal. This is where you stop and you sit back and you go, wow, something really boring and special is happening here. Something amazing, something that perhaps we cannot understand, something we cannot fathom in the modern game. A team that is going out and trying not to lose instead of trying to win. A team that instead of being the Latvian national team trying to play out of the back and then scoring a horrific own goal, which happened just the other day, a team that is acknowledging the fact that perhaps they are not able to do that. A team that is instead playing to win the only way that it can against what has been a very easy draw. Not just in their group stage, but getting Servette in the round of 16. That's a draw that Victoria Pilsen thought that it had an opportunity to win. And you know what? Gosh darn it, it did. But now that sets them up in the quarterfinal. A quarterfinal against a team from an actual power league. A quarterfinal against Fiorentina, a team that's been fairly recently in a European final. The team that, if my memory serves correctly, was vanquished by Jose Mourinho's Roma in the Conference League final, right? So this is a very, very different ball game for Victoria Pilsen. And yet, remarkably, the exact same result. Now, my interest is piqued. Now I am a believer in the hoodoo, in the magic, in the process. I am a believer that if God himself walked through the door, he would not be able to score a goal against Victoria Pilsen. Because in the Czech Republic, Fiorentina was frustrated and unable to score. This means that for 3 consecutive knockout matches, Victoria Pilsen has played it to a 0-0. After playing a group stage where it won all 6 matches, 5 of them by a single goal. This team is ordained by the football gods to be the hero we didn't know we needed. The anti-football nonsense driving side that is somehow battling its way ever closer to a European final. And let me tell you how close they are, because the Conference League is a little topsy-turvy this year. And on their side of the draw, the other 2 teams, Club Brugge and PAOK Thessaloniki from Greece. That's right. This is what the draw looks like on this side, which means if Victoria Pilsen can cast the dark magic on Fiorentina in the second leg and win another penalty shootout, it's actually going to have an easier tie than the one it's already won to try and get to the Conference League final. The door is open for one of the most miraculous runs I've ever seen. From starting your qualifying run with a draw against a club from Kosovo to winning every single group stage match and now conceding just 1 goal in 9 matches played in the Conference League proper. And it is incredibly important to note, I know absolutely nothing about this team. I don't know who their players are. I don't know who their coach is. I know it's in the Czech League, and I know what the badge looks like. And you know what? I know the results. And when you are putting up these types of results, somehow a part of me believes that that's how it should be. I don't need to know anything about this team. I don't need to know the names of any of the players. They're likely interchangeable. I don't need to know the name of the coach. He likely doesn't want it that way if he's got his team playing like this. The only thing that matters for Victoria Pilsen is the result. That's the only thing. And they are producing the results. They are playing the exact same way against any type of team from any type of league, and they are getting those results. And my goodness, they're in a European quarterfinal, and nobody's given them a second thought, and I certainly didn't give them a hoot and a holler of a chance. Who am I, my grandpa? I didn't give them a hoot and a holler of a chance to win against Fiorentina, because Fiorentina is an actual team from a good league with players making millions and millions and millions of dollars to put the ball on the back of the net, and they can't, because there is a spell cast over the net that Victoria Pilsen defends, and they defend it with their lives. Like Alexander the Great, like Julius Caesar, and like Ronald McDonald, they are accomplishing something that nobody has seen before. They are shining a light on a new way to do something, blazing a new trail. Whether it be dollar hamburgers or conquering the world, or in this case, trying to win a European trophy without seemingly ever scoring or being scored upon. It is now one of my favorite things to watch. And while I don't know anything about this team, I will be tuning into the second leg. And if anybody scores, unlike any other match I've ever watched, I will be disappointed. I hope it finishes 0-0. I'm sorry if you're for a Fiorentina fan, obviously you'd be rooting for a big win, but I hope this match finishes 0-0. I hope it goes 0-0 through extra time. I hope we go to penalties with Fiorentina thinking about how they weren't able to score against a team that drew a Kosovo club earlier this year, and then they lose that penalty shootout at home to jeers. I want Victoria Pilsen to win the Conference League. I want to watch the world burn. And I hope that you also, in a much more lighthearted way, want to watch Pilsen actually continue this ridiculous run, because it is ridiculous And it might not be over yet, because they've taken their game to a whole new level with this Fiorentina nonsense. And I just can't wait for a Conference League final between Victoria Pilsen and Aston Villa, and just watch Villa fans lose their mind at the anti-football Pilsen plays, and then Pilsen wins on penalties and all is right with the world. And we have a new hero. Until then.